Hi, I'm Jason Cochran, and welcome to AfterShark, WalletPop.com's post-show to ABC's Shark Tank. And we're here with two big winners, Brian Duggan on the right and Adam McCombs on the left. How you guys doing?
Great, we're doing wonderful.
We're great. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, well, you guys you hit a grand slam last night, I would say. You went in asking for $150,000. You came out with $600,000. Would you explain very briefly what your website is, Brian, that made this happen?
Our website does two things. We streamline communication between high school athletes and college coaches. We help the high school athlete parent market themselves to the college coach to secure a position with that school's sports department. At the same time, we provide services for the athletic departments to manage contacts, market themselves, and adhere to the NCAA compliance rules and regulations.
Right, so you hook up students in colleges in a way that doesn't get the colleges into any trouble.
Well put.
Adam, are you a big sports fan?
I am, and one of the teams I love are my Minnesota Vikings. Yes, I am.
Brian?
I'm a big fan as well, not quite as much as Adam. I enjoy a good time. I'll put it this way, it doesn't matter if it's the Sox or the Cubs, who's ever winning is my team.
So how did you put together that this would be a good business idea, from going from being a sports fan to a businessman?
Well, my background is technology, and looking at the sports industry, I went through the recruiting process, and it was very difficult, cumbersome, and you know, I used to work at a large technology company, and I always looked back at this problem and thought that technology could be applied to really solve some of the inefficiencies in the sports industry and recruiting market.
Adam, what did you play?
I played soccer.
Right. Now, when you guys were in the tank last night, at what point could you sort of tell that the Sharks were going to fight over this business?
Pretty early on. I was not surprised that some of the Sharks bowed out. I thought they did so respectfully. And we knew that Kevin and Robert would be interested.
Yep.
Pretty early on, they began to go after each other, which I thought was good. That's what we wanted.
I think you need more cash.
You know, Robert, excuse me, guys. Why don't you turn around and just exit for a couple of minutes? I have to discuss something with Robert over here.
Thank you.
Let me tell you something. We don't want to do what we're about to do to each other. This is going to get really expensive. So let's stop right now. Think about it. It's a big mistake with me on this one.
Did you guys designate one speaker? Because, Adam, you were sort of the wingman last night.
Yeah, I was. I think, you know, Brian, to me, was in the zone, and I was not going to disrupt that. He did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, he really did.
And he was just on his game. You know, a few moments I was going to pipe in, but Brian really knocked it out of the park. So.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see you smiling, Brian, because last night you were just so intense, so you're almost, I don't want to say robotic, but you were emotionless, and I think that got you through it.
Well, yes, that's very true. I was in a zone. I'll tell you, it's intimidating, you know, going before the venture capitalists that we were speaking before, knowing that it was going to be presented before the entire country. And what the world didn't get to see was what happened just before, and that we had a little bit of a problem with our initial pitch.
Yep.
It didn't go quite well.
What happened?
I immediately had to go into recovery mode, and that's why I may have seemed so robotic, because I had to straighten things out.
So in a way, you'd already gotten rid of all your extra energy, and now you were focusing.
I was focused.
So it's sort of a blessing that the pitch went wrong to begin with, and we didn't see it.
I don't know that it was a blessing, but nonetheless, we got through it. I very much enjoy public speaking. I enjoy negotiations, so I thrive for what we got to do last night. It was really exciting, and I didn't know how stoic I was until you go back and look at it, but trust me, I may not have looked like I was having fun, but I was having the time of my life.
Yeah, you looked like one cool customer. But at one point in the negotiations, and maybe this was a bluff, you said, well, you know, we're pretty confident we can get the money somewhere else if we don't get it here necessarily here. Now, if that's true, why did you need to go to the Shark Tank at all?
Well, there's a couple reasons. First, there's a lot of value that one places on smart money, right? And Adam and I both have a lot of background in business and so on and so forth. So we know that at some point our business would benefit from institutional or smart capital, but we've had no problem raising money to date. There's a line of investors, even before the Shark Tank, that were interested in the business and, more importantly, the management team, because at this stage you're investing in a management team. But the Shark Tank did two things. A, it introduced us to very smart capital, and B, it gave us exposure that no venture capitalist alone can provide.
So when you say smart management, you mean Robert and Kevin, who have some background in this kind of stuff, like starting websites from nothing.
Exactly,
yeah.
Right. And not so much websites, but growing software enterprises.
Sure, absolutely. Well, when you pulled out a calculator, Brian, what were you doing? You're the only guy I've ever seen in the tank whipping out a calculator in the middle of negotiations. What were you adding up exactly?
Well, real quick, my analogy is, if you're going to go to a gunfight, you bring a gun. And Brian, when he goes into financial discussions, he never leaves anywhere without his calculator. Always has it in his hand. Always.
True, and the mentors that I've had over the years in different capacities, that's one thing I always hammer on people. Never come to a meeting without a pen, paper, and a calculator. You never know what you'll need. So it was just kind of funny that ended up being such a funny part of the show. But specifically, when you get into numbers like this, it's very common in a negotiation that you split the difference, right? And so we could, for example, be at, say, 15%. You split the difference, and you're at 7.5%. Well, 7.5% of some number isn't always so easy to calculate. And if this is a $50 million business, 0.5% could be a lot of money.
How long did this negotiation actually take? We saw about 10 minutes on TV.
It was over an hour. It was the longest negotiation they've ever had. They had to change tapes once, maybe twice.
Yeah.
It was exhausting. I think an hour and a half from beginning to end.
Do you see a website or a software like this working for academic students as well as athletic students?
You know, I do think that there's a play for that, but the reality is the reason we attacked this market is because it was underserved. The academic portion of recruiting or applying to college is already very, very efficient. Quick analogy I'll give is there's a lot of websites out there whereby, you can input all of your applications online and everything is transmitted online. In fact, you don't even have to do two. You could do one application and then it automatically populates other schools' applications. Well, it's just silly that this type of technology isn't available for the sport component of high school athletes, and now with JumpForward it is.
Well, I imagine that for some kids it could make a college education now possible. They can get a scholarship they wouldn't have known about otherwise. But on the other hand, it could also encourage some kids to get that hoop dream thing. They think that athletics is going to solve all their problems.
It's a double-edged sword, yes. Our goal is to increase the number of people that play sports in college. I'm a great example. I told you I'm not a big sports guy, but I did play soccer in high school. But I never thought about going to any of there's a lot of smaller grade schools, NAIA, JUCO schools, that if you want to play soccer or a sport that's your passion, college is about a unique combined experience, and the focus needs to be on more than just academics. At the same time, can't be on just athletics either. It's got to be balanced.
All right, guys. Well, you're on your way. Congratulations on such a success last night on the season finale of Shark Tank. And thanks for joining us here today as well on Wallet Pop.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
If you want to watch more videos with all the entrepreneurs from all the season, you can do it right here for free at walletpop.com.